we're joined now in studio with a very, very special guest, Fordham Athletic Director Ed Kull. Before we get into the interview, you told me it's the first time in the studio, right?
That's correct.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
First time here.
It's
at
a
the
crime.
FUV
We got to get you here
studios.
more often then.
I'll blame COVID on that. But
Okay,
yes,
yeah, there you go.
yes.
That's true. That's true.
Not my first time with you guys, but yes.
Right, yeah. We're very familiar with you. Appreciate, all you
My
do
pleasure.
for us. And before we get into some of the specific team stuff, late night on the Hill announcement, I believe this will come out after we've made the official announcement. Do you want to kind of just tell us what we can expect from this event?
Yeah, so we're super excited. I guess our second annual. Let's go second annual in terms of late night on the Hill and packing of the Hill, kind of our spinoff of Midnight Madness for all those loyal college basketball fanatics around the country. Happy to have a special guest this year. Wale will be our performer, which will be exciting. And again, besides the official tip-off of the men's and women's basketball seasons, which is great, and the opportunity to hear from our women's coach and our men's coach and our players and kind of really celebrate basketball season being here already. Hard to believe we're in November already. But a wonderful way to truly get the campus energized. This is my fourth year at Fordham. A couple of those have been COVID years, pandemic years for your student body. And the opportunity to really connect with the student body on a school spirit, school pride standpoint, creating memories and events they're excited by. Of course, we love our athletic events, and we want them to be a part of our men's and women's basketball seasons this year and be in that student section, be a part of the herd, and really create a home court atmosphere. It's great to give them a memory and opportunity. I remember my college days and those special events and those opportunities and having a concert on campus, a free concert on campus, and the ability to partner with student government on this and be able to partner with the student body and work closely with student affairs and so forth, and just get as many pack the gym and have a sold out concert is what it's really about in terms of your college experience, the whole experience, and to tie it together with our basketball season. Seems like a perfect energy for me, and was a big initiative for us last year when we started this with ASAP Ferg.
Yes.
So this will be the second annual.
Now that's getting us ready for basketball season, but we're still in football season. Huge game this week, 6-1 on the year. There's been a lot of success, offensive records left and right. Before we kind of get into this week's game, what that could mean for the program, how happy have you been with this team so far?
Extremely happy, and what a impressive year it has been for Coach Conlon and these young men and the staff in terms of what they've done, and not only just being 16 in the country and the number 2 offense or top offense in the country, to really see Coach Conlon's tenure come to fruition. As you both know, in December we gave Coach Conlon an extension. Maybe not a lot of publicity or fanfare behind that. Maybe some questions of, hey, are we ever going to be able to kind of get through this in the Patriot League? Just excited that you're kind of seeing the continued growth of Coach himself, of the staff, of our players, and happy for our seniors and our fifth-year seniors. You really see not only the maturity there, but obviously you see the talent development coming to a head here. And it all comes down to Holy Cross. Everybody's been saying that for quite a while. What are they, 3-time in a row champions? So this is the one. It's up there in Worcester for all of our friends in New England. And it's going to be a packed house. I already got an email that there's no more parking available, so our folks have to park off campus or off venue. Couldn't be more excited and proud of our young men and our team. It's a proud day to be a Ram, and I'm excited. I think they're ready for it. Coming off a bye week, everybody's healthy. I think the perfect timing. I think our defense is hitting their stride, so I couldn't be more pleasant and happy in terms of the timing of this game.
Ed, you mentioned the scoring offense there, and that's, of course, led by Tim DeMorad. He's thrown for over 3,000 yards. He's still got 4 games left. He's had just video game numbers so far this year. What can you say kind of about the job that he's done, not only individually, but also kind of as a leader for this team and for this offense?
So you talk about video game numbers. I have 2 boys, young boys at home, 10 and 11. They love their video games, and they've even referenced, "Hey, how do I find Tim in my video game?"
Maybe in a year or so.
Maybe in a year or so.
Tim DeMorad, yeah.
I believe he belongs on some team and some organization, and being a part of Sundays in our country, I think Tim has earned that right, and a few of our players have. I think what's impressed me most about Tim, and obviously our offensive juggernaut that I've seen us quoted as, is just I'm blown away by the leadership skills, the football IQ, the demeanor, the poise. Tim is truly a leader in that huddle. There's not a speck of doubt or concern or troublesome. Well, that was even in Ohio at our FBS challenge this year, that last drive, some questionable calls. I'll leave it at that.
Yep.
But they
don't want to get in trouble, I guess.
I don't want to
right?
get. I don't want to get in trouble either. But
Yep.
there was no doubt that they were going to march down the field. Our players knew that. That trust is there, and I think it's really helped create the confidence for a lot of other players along the way. And I think the offense obviously goes through Tim and Coach Decker, who's going to be obviously a highly sought after coach in this offseason too. But I just love the leadership skills, the demeanor and poise. It's all come together nicely. And again, kudos to Coach Conlon for creating that culture and environment in our program.
Now, we just brought it up a little bit about Tim potentially playing on Sundays. You had Nick Sakel last year get drafted. What does it mean for this program to be able to say to recruits, you can come to Fordham and then you can make the NFL? How important is that to have that stability now, it looks like, for a second straight year?
Yeah, listen, I think it's important, that national recognition, that brand identity, that marketing and profile for our program, but also for our institution. The number of texts I get on a Sunday when Chase Edmonds finds the end zone. Nick obviously was tremendous last year, even with the Reese's, senior All-Star game, and obviously Coyle there for a bit. I think we're seeing it a lot already in terms of Tim, of Coco, of Wright, of Greenhagen. I think a lot of the scouts, they've been all over our workouts and practices, evaluating these young men and their ability to, even if it's not being drafted, the ability to get that free agent opportunity and show up on either a Sunday roster or definitely a practice squad somewhere, because they surely have earned it. The talent level speaks for itself. The numbers don't lie. And I do think it shows Fordham truly as a dominant FCS program in our country, and I know it's been extremely helpful for Coach Conlon in the recruiting process.
So we've been dancing around the game, but we want to get into it here. Fordham and Holy Cross obviously coming this weekend. They've been playing this series since 1902. It's been a rivalry that in the last 5 years, it's been one way. It's been in favor of Holy Cross. So how important would it be for this team this year to kind of flip that script, win this game, especially on the road, and especially with the fact that there's a lot of upperclassmen, senior, fifth years, a lot of guys in the final year of eligibility. How important do you think it would be for them to get this win over Holy Cross, something Fordham hasn't done in the last 5 years?
There's no denying it. It's a huge game. It's everything for this team, this roster, for our coaching staff, and 5 years is a long time. Obviously, we talked about Holy Cross's success of, I think, running off of 3 in a row. And have we not won since Yankee Stadium? Is that the last?
I'm not sure. I'd have to look
Crusader
back on
Cup
it.
at Yankee Stadium, and I bring that up.
You got to bring those back, by the way.
Yeah, so that's where I was kind of going there. It's
that looked we saw some of the tape from that series, and that looked awesome.
That was a huge victory, a fun opportunity playing at Yankee Stadium, something that the Yankees have and I have begun conversations about. That's why I bring it up, and something we'd love to do in the Bronx, and it makes all the sense for our alumni and our fan base. But yeah, this game is, I think, what they've been staring at on the schedule the whole year and working towards. And whether it's our 4-year seniors, our 5-year seniors, as you know, it's not only just Coach Conlon in terms of it being, the 5th year of his tenure. COVID year is a tough year. Obviously, those are challenging times. There was no FCS football in those falls, and obviously we had the makeshift kind of spring situation, and the eligibility kind of came out of that in terms of the audible from the COVID reaction. And I couldn't be more happier and proud of these young men that they have the opportunity. They're in this position. We talked about, obviously, the close FBS loss at Ohio, the tremendous season nationally ranked in the country. This is it. This is what they've built for. This is what they've been working towards. We're on the road. It's a shame, too bad we're not in the Bronx, but I don't think it matters in terms of their preparation, their confidence, or their ability to win this game.
Now, last question on the game. You brought up how it's not home. There will be fan buses, though, that leave from here, bring us to Holy Cross. How important is that, one, to have that in place, and two, to have a kind of fan atmosphere at Holy Cross?
We talked about it earlier in terms of late night on the hill and having a concert really for the fans, for the student body. Same with the buses. I want it to be what the students want. We help them get up there. We take care of it in terms of tickets and T-shirts and pizzas, whatever the needs are. the culture and the environment, whether it be at football games this year or even at basketball games last year, I just see a vast improvement in the energy level. And as you all know, obviously working and loving sports in this city, in this tri-state area, when the fans are behind you and the team is doing well, there's a direct correlation. So we're very, very thankful and very loyal to our student body for their energy, to our alums and donors who support this program. And yeah, if having fan buses is the easiest decision I have to make in terms
There's not a bigger game to do it for, so it makes sense. Yeah.
And whatever we could do to enhance that experience more, make it easier for fans to get there, we want to do that.
So shifting over to men's basketball now, obviously season very close to getting underway. We have late night on the Hill coming up. An exciting opportunity early in the year against a top 10 team in the nation in Arkansas, traveling on the road to play them. How do you expect the team, how do you expect Coach Urgo in his first year to kind of face that challenge?
Yeah, so it's an exciting opportunity playing an SEC battle on the road, national TV, going there to Arkansas. I think it's a good test for our young men. It's not easy to schedule these days in terms of trying to get a Power 5 opponent or finding space on a non-conference schedule. So Arkansas was one. Coach Musselman out there has done a great job. And, I think it's good for our young men to experience that culture and environment, that national TV, probably a sold-out crowd early on in the season to help prepare them for the A-10 season, which is going to be a slugfest. I think, either one or both of you were at Media Day, and a lot of hype on a lot of our A-10 schools, and it's going to be a battle in conference play. So how do we best prepare for that?
Right. And now with the first year of Coach Urgo, having some stability with most of the staff back from last year, just overall in this offseason, what have you seen from him in early impressions of what he's going to bring to Fordham as a head coach?
I've been very impressed and very blown away by the continuity, the stability, the momentum continuing. That family approach that we kind of put in place, 18 months ago is still going strong. And, obviously the transition from Coach Neptune was a unique timing of Jay Wright's retirement and his loss to Villanova. But, Coach Paulson was really a part of our staff last year in an advisory role, consultant role. He knows the A-10 better than anybody, being a former head coach at George Mason. He slides into Coach Urgo's old position. We didn't lose anybody else on our staff. We didn't lose any of our players or recruits. So I feel like the continuity and stability is there. The culture and environment that was built a year ago, Coach Urgo was a part of that on a daily basis. So I feel really good that we're continuing and poised to take a step in the right direction, continued direction.
Ed, you mentioned the A-10 being competitive this year. Definitely will be. Fordham was picked to finish 11th overall in the conference preseason poll. But how do you expect them to compete within what's going to be a difficult conference this year?
Yeah, I think what would I'd like to see from our program is continued building and continued step in the right direction. Obviously, we were 16-16 last year. Can we take another step in that right direction, compete and continue to advance to the top half of the A-10? That'd be incredible. Year one of Coach Urgo, his first season as being a head coach. I think we have a good amount of talent. I think we have some young talent that obviously will need some development. I think they'll be leaning on a handful of younger players and some freshmen too, which hopefully will be building blocks for the future. But I like the strategy. I like the vision of Coach Urgo. I like what we've been building here the last 18 months. How do we continue to do that? And I think just a step in the right direction would be monumental. And then, as you know, it's building that fan base, building that culture environment. And then, of course, continuing the recruiting process, which is never easy, as you know, in this wild collegiate athletics world. You
brought up the unique coaching situation, and shifting over to the women's side of things, they certainly have a similar kind of spot there with interim head coach Candace Green. Just wondering how you think she's handled the job so far and what you're seeing from the women's team this year.
I've been extremely impressed with Coach Green in terms of how she's handled this transition this summer. Obviously unique timing, unique situation, unique adversity to overcome. I've been really impressed the last few months in terms of how that team has really continued to come together. Obviously different leadership, a little bit of different approach, but I see a real chemistry amongst them. I've spent a lot of time with our student athletes throughout the summer, dealing with our challenging situations, and then obviously transitioning to Candace, stay in touch with our captains and making sure that things are continuing to move in the right direction. So really pleased with how Candace has grabbed hold, and even how our other staff, whether that be Lauren, Liz, Anita, have really kind of stepped up to the occasion. As you know, obviously, once the season gets going, we're there. I know what preseason for, which maybe some might think even a little higher if it wasn't obviously a little bit of a coaching transition. But I think our talent level is there. I think another team similar to our football squad, Ryan and Sam, just a real, whether it be 4-year senior or 5-year senior experienced team. I even saw some of the preseason Player of the Year, National Player of the Year finalists, and they of course had Breen from UMass. And maybe you saw my tweet. I thought Anna DeWolf was kind of forgotten in that conversation. I think we know she's a former Player of the Year in the A10, kind of forgotten about. So hopefully Ryan and Sam were a little bit under the radar on the women's side, because I think the talent level is there. I love our new freshmen, so I think they've done a great job of positioning Fordham for a little bit of a sleeper season and a little bit of a poised success.
Just like the men have a couple, big non-conference games on the road, the women have that as well, at least neutral site in Las Vegas for a tournament. They play Maryland as well as top 15th in the country on the road. So what do you look for in that schedule, and how important is that to have a schedule like that and an opportunity for the women's team to play in some really cool spots?
I think they've always done a tremendous job of scheduling, right? We know that, whether it was Coach Gately or continuing here on the Coach Green, of really scheduling a challenging non-conference schedule. And I think the vision there and strategy is kind of simple in preparing these young women for A10, and the ability to also position them possibly for some upset victories and perceived upset victories against Power 5 opponents that position them for an at-large bid. I think the A10, whether it be the men's side or the women's side, is always in conversation of how do we get more teams in the tournament, how do we get more bids in there, and I think scheduling hard and aggressive is a major strategy in doing that. Of course, you want to win those games. That's a needed outcome, but I think that's helpful. And then I also think, similar to your question about the men against Arkansas, how do we test our teams early on that they're in the best position come the end of December, January for A10 season, which is a challenge. There's no easy nights there in the A10, that's for sure.
Ed, I think that's just about going to do it. Thank you so much for joining us. Big week ahead for Fordham, late night on the Hill. Holy Cross this weekend. Any final message to that Ramblin'?
Final message I want to give is a wonderful announcement that'll be official today or tomorrow, but I'm not sure when we're airing this, but Ryan Greenhagen will be named finalist for the Campbell Trophy. That's football across country. Now it's 1AA, 1, 2, 3. So that is the academic Heisman of our nation, for those not familiar with the Campbell Trophy. He'll be going out to Las Vegas in December, unless we have a conflicting playoff game, which we hope we do, or championship game, which we hope we do. But that's an impressive acknowledgement. He gets a grad school scholarship for that automatically, as being one of the 15 finalists. Fordham University, in all of its incredible history, going way back, has never had a Campbell Trophy finalist. And the academic Heisman, as you know, it's impressive. If it wasn't for COVID, it would typically be in Manhattan. So the National Football Foundation now is out there in Vegas. Hopefully they'll come back to Manhattan post-COVID here. But it'd be based around the same week as the Heisman Trophy in Manhattan. So really prestigious. We all know what Ryan Greenhagen means to this football program, what he means to Fordham University, and how he represents what a true Ram is about. So I just want to give a special congratulations to him.
Congrats to Ryan Greenhagen. That's certainly some honor, and we're very happy for him. All his success on the field, off the field. Just a great person all the way through. Ed, once again, thank you so much for joining us in studio for the first time.
Great to be here, and I'm looking forward to coming back.
Thanks, Ed.
Yep.
Thanks for having me.